everyone, this is Kelly from The Truth in Story, and I've got a oracle deck to show you today. This is The Secret Language of Animals Oracle Cards by Chip Richards. I don't know where I first saw this deck, to be honest. I think Maha might have it. I'll have to see if I can find, I might have seen it. A lot of times I've seen hers a while ago and then it eventually comes around and seeing it. So I'm kind of guessing that, but I'm just guessing it. I'm really not sure where I first saw this. Or someone recommended it to me when I did my animal decks. Like I don't know who to attribute having put this on my radar. My instinct is saying it's probably all of the above. But I've been, this particular purchase was born out of frustration for, Oracle decks are just so hard for me to find that work well with men and women for readings, that don't seem overly feminine or overly divine feminine. Which again, I have no issues with and I enjoy using them, but you know, we need a balance here of energy, and it seems like for me, animal decks have sort of been that neutral ground, and so I had been particularly frustrated, and you know what, I'm just going to pick that animal, Secret Language Animal deck and see if that kind of fills in the gap of a regular, you know, Blue Angel-y kind of an oracle deck. Because I do have animal decks, but I was kind of looking for just like an oracle deck in the strictest sense of the word. A themed deck, bigger cards, keywords, you know, just a basic oracle deck that wasn't skewed either way. I did look again at the Gods and Titans and Goddess and Sirens, but just the images just kind of put me off on that one. They're not, I mean, they're beautifully done, don't get me wrong, but they are a little bit cover of romance novel or 1980s like sci-fi fantasy novel or something. Of course, they are gods and goddesses, so you do, I guess, expect a certain degree of beauty, that kind of thing, but that's all subjective, right? Anyways, we're going to quit rambling. This is by Chip Richards, and these are Endangered Voices of Mother Earth. This is a Blue Angel deck, and there are 46 cards and an 168-page guidebook, although usually with these style of cards, for me anyways, the guidebooks aren't really important. Beautiful, like mustard yellow and brown inside. I do love a Hay House box. I do. I really love Hay House for oracles. Typical, you know, this is just a standard Hay House setup here of things. It looks like there's a medicine wheel spread there, which is an awfully big spread for this size of cards. I generally, I'm not gonna lie, I'm usually a three card person. But one of the things that appealed to me when I looked at this again yesterday, or not yesterday, 2 days ago, because it's Amazon 2-day mailing, right? When I first looked at this, is that there's actually some degree of suits going on, which not surprisingly through the elements, but I really appreciate that in decks, because then you do have some balance, right, between water, earth, air, fire, and then they've added wood, so obviously out in the woods, I suppose, whereas earth seems to be more like Africa kind of animals. The woods are more like animals that you would find in the woods. Fire, they have things like dragonflies, bees, we'll have to see how they decide that. But this is how it's set up in the animal spirits, and I quite like there being that suits. Now, naturally, you can do that with any animal deck, right? But when you know that they've set it up that way, you know that there's a balance between those different types of energies and animals. So you don't have, you know, let's say half of it birds and the other half a mix of things. You know it's fairly balanced because they've gone about and purposely done that. So that did appeal to me when I saw that that was the case. So typical, that was an elemental spread. So typical, you know, kind of has your introduction here, goes into using the cards, like a single card here, an elemental card. I do like this because it is the elements, and then you have two above and below for wood. So you have the directions, air being north, fire being east, south being water, west being earth, and then wood being in the middle with an above and below. But again, that's pretty space taking. It talks about totem visions because this is an animal deck, so I appreciate that. Totem animal and elemental connection is an honored tradition among many native people around the world. Our totem animals are more than momentary messengers. Sometimes they are. They are ongoing allies, partners, and guides in our journey through life. Different native traditions have various ways of discovering the animals and elements that live in the heart. Some are handed down by tradition to the tribe, some are revealed in vision quests, and many are discovered through real-life experiences with animals and elements themselves. So it talks about, you know, gives a nod over to that. Look at how gorgeous that wolf is. And so then it goes into the water, and it starts to have your water animals and go through the animals. And that's probably the end. What's this back here? Then there's a section on endangered animal. The mountain gorilla. I don't know if these are all in here, or salmon, sea turtle. I'm not sure. We'll see. These might just be animals in general. No, I think so. Great panda, tinder wolf. So it tells us whether it's extinct or endangered, and what's occurring about that particular animal. So that's one of the things that this book really does, is highlight endangered animals. I like to think of nature as an unlimited broadcasting station through which God speaks to us every hour if we will only tune in. George Washington Carver. That's really beautiful. So yeah, so this does highlight endangered animals. It's not just general animals. And so I think, so it's got sort of an underlying issue of a cause, and the understanding that it's important to maintain these animals' environments and things so that we can appreciate these, and not just from an oracle deck. There we go. So again, typical, this is just an oracle deck. It's a very standard hay house size. You've got a beautiful backing here. It's a gorgeous, like mustardy yellow, but in a beautiful sense of the word, with a lion in the back. It's not perfectly centered. I'm not sure why they do that. I don't do reversals with oracles, but if you're going to do a backing like this, I'm not sure why you wouldn't center it. Well, you have a lion's face, so no matter what, it's not going to be reversible. But I think it's quite a beautiful backing. And then we can see, without even looking, that there are, these suits are colored. Now, it's a very subtle coloration, but they are colored so that you are able to see those suits, although they're usually pretty obvious with animals, except for maybe the fire. You kind of have to think about that a little bit sometimes. But it's typical. We've got that thin colored borders. It's very standard Hay House Blue Angel, very standard Blue Angel layout, and I quite like it. It's not an obtrusive border. I like the various colors. I do enjoy a Blue Angel Oracle deck. So here we have, obviously the first suit is the element of water, and we have just the actual element water. We have a shell here, but we have the element of water, feeling, awakening, expression, and life. So, you end up with 4 or 5 element cards as well. So that's lovely for me. A little sticky there. Here we have the blue whale for unity, resonance, magnificence, and mastery. Let's read one of the full things just so you get people like to know what the text is like. So, well, you know, let's wait till we get to my toe. Let's wait till we get to wolf. So that's the gorgeous blue whale. You can see there is this kind of, on some of them, this kind of sun shape with almost like the rays here. It's not on all of them, but so far we are seeing it, and that's what we're seeing on the back. Oh, so sorry. I got jolted. My mail lady comes fairly early, and I'm usually asleep because I'm a late night person, so I'm usually jolted out of sleep by my obnoxiously loud doorbell. But I wanted to take a look at these. Here we have the polar bear: solitude, friendship, strength, and resilience. You can see like a snowflake. Let's see if the art is Chip Richards who did the art as well. Copyright Chip Richards 2013. Here we go. No, the artwork is by Jimmy Manton. He is wonderful, isn't he? He's a very good artist. Beautiful dolphin for joy and light, flow and compassion. A salmon for faith, determination, independence, and change. I do like salmons in animal decks because they do have a very strong persistence and strength and determination. It does have the, you know, that energy has definitely built up around the salmon. I quite like having them. A dugong for trust, grace, mystery, and humor. I think we, let's see if it talks about it. I feel like there's another name for a dugong. It's alright. Dugongs, like dolphins and whales, are mammals. I feel like, are these similar to manatees? I feel like these are similar to manatees. Now, I do like that they have, and I really like this actually in, yeah, I really like this in oracle decks when they have sort of this I affirmation. So for the dugong, I am present, I am calm. I trust the abundant flow of life that now brings to me all that I need and desire. With peace and gratitude, I share my gifts with others. I really do like, if I'm going to have an affirmative style deck, I do particularly like having those I statements, like we see at the end of the Wings of Enchantment Oracle and such. Because if you're going to use it for meditation, you can sit with those words. And I found them to be actually quite powerful if they're done well. Here we have the sea turtle. Beginnings, self-reliance, journey, and home. I quite like this sort of, the shadow of the sea turtle is more in like tribal art. That's really neat. Crayfish for protection, perseverance, vulnerability, and regeneration. I used to catch crayfish all the time growing up. We just released them back again. But shark for perception, focus, fear, and action. And we have a shark tooth here, sort of central in the middle. And then so there are the actual element card and then 8 other water cards, which brings us to the element of earth. I really like the elemental cards. Physical body, grounding, nature, cultivate. Because all of them would have that inherent energy, but then it has that by itself, and that I really appreciate. Lion for power, loyalty, leadership, and family. The mountain gorilla for reverence, contemplation, community, it makes sense, and inner calm. The snow leopard for mystery, agility, belief, and sensitivity. That kind of stylized snowflake. The caribou for perseverance, resourcefulness, movement, and determination. The gorgeous white rhinoceros for stability, confidence, steadiness, and abundance. And the beautiful elephant for honor, empathy, responsibility, and cooperation. How sweet is that? The python for discernment, detachment, transformation. I love that with a snake. And renewal. The lizard or tuatara for dreaming, sight, knowledge, and hidden gifts. Looks like a real dragony, doesn't it? I almost think that might be in fire. And then that takes us to air. See, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 8. Seems to be 8 and a element card. So I like that balance. I love this air card with that, again, a little bit of that tribal stylized art on the feather tip. Thought, alignment, breath, and intention. We have the gorgeous eagle for vision, freedom, authority, and inspiration. The falcon for focus and action, purpose, and aspiration. Love the stylized sun. I do like the blend of realistic drawings with a little bit of stylized element. Excuse me. White pelican for ease, optimism, grace, and cooperation. The albatross for faith, endurance, journey. That's wonderful. The condor for cycles, reflection, perspective, and release. I love that we kind of get a little bit of different fairy wrens. I didn't know that they were endangered. Let me see this. Blue whale, bald eagle, white pelican. Seeing if it talks. Purple crowned fairy wren. It's vulnerable. Loss of habitat due to farming, cattle, bushfires, and weeds, plus a declining condition of creeks and river systems of northern Australia. I painted a fairy wren when I was starting with watercolor. Spontaneity, vibrancy, support, the muse. Beautiful masked owl for insight, wisdom, foresight. I love that, insight and foresight, and is a messenger. The crow. Okay, so let's read my 2 totems here. Let's find the crow is number 27. So it does have it the number at the top, which is always helpful. So it says, ancient lore tells us that each animal spirit has a unique gateway through which they enter the sacred circle of life. Each doorway is symbolic of the gift that it is destined to bring to the world. There is a gateway for each of the animal species through which their potential is birthed into reality. All are included except for crow. Crow is the gatekeeper. Crow knows the essence. Isn't that interesting? I never heard that said. I had a dream years and years ago that was so impactful that it has stuck with me ever since. And it was when we were told that my son, we were moving into palliative care, that, it was no longer about fighting, but it was about, making him comfortable, and it was like waiting then. It was this big shift. And I was really struggling with it. And I had a dream, and Michael and I were standing up in the air in the middle of a doorway. And it was him, but it wasn't him. It was him at his most healthy, at his most, in a way, truthfully, that I had never seen him in physical life. And the energy was an old, ancient, energy, and I could see through the door this other world, and the only words that were spoken is that he said, "I am the gatekeeper," or "I am a gate." It was either I am the gatekeeper or I am a gatekeeper. That's really interesting. And crow's one of my totems, and at that time had definitely been highly in action, so to speak. Interesting. Crow knows the essence of all who come to the circle. He meets each at the threshold of their journey and assists their passage into becoming who they really are. To the ancestors of native elders, Crow is a totem of great spirit, the weaver of light and dark, of inner and outer worlds. He is honored with deepest respect. Crow's pitchback feathers symbolize pure spiritual strength and creation. With nests perched at the top of the tallest trees, Crow has long been honored for his unique perspective and magic way of seeing and being in the world. Each caw of Crow actually has a different meaning, and the depth of their vocabulary gives us glimpses of their intelligence. Crows are renowned problem solvers, lock pickers, and tool users. They can survive in almost any situation. When one crow solves or explores something new, others in the clan watch closely and learn, then spread the word. Crows remember the faces of those who have helped them and those who have harmed them. They not only carry the story with them throughout their life, they spread the word so that all in the clan know who to trust and who to be careful. Celebrated by many cultures for their playful and mischievous nature, crows form close friendships with a wide variety of animals, can be seen surfing the wind, sledding in snow, and playing with sticks in the wild, and have even been known to build fake nests high in treetops to confuse predators. Message. Crow is the guardian and the messenger of your unique sacred story, the keeper of universal law. He stands at the gateway. It's really giving me goosebumps. He stands at the gateway to assist you in the transition from one chapter in life to another, from one level of being and doing in the world to the next. As you approach, Crow calls out on your arrival, speaking the story of the steps you have taken so far, the lessons and the gifts you have gathered en route to this place. As you reach the threshold, Crow pauses and stares deep into your soul with cold, metallic eyes. He asks you what you have learned and why you believe you are ready to move on to the new. What is the purpose of your path? His caw is sharp and penetrating, at times intimidating, but in truth he does this only as a game. He is not really here to test you or hold you back, but to celebrate and herald your transition into a new realm of experience. He knows you are ready. He has watched you every step of the way and spoken your journey into the great gatherings of the tribe. He knows who you really are. Do you? Crow's penetrating stare and abrasive caw is a gift, for it gives you the opportunity to strengthen your resolve and stare right back, stepping forward with even more commitment than before. As you do, Crow breaks into a smile and begins to laugh. The celebration has begun. Another hero has crossed the threshold into the realm of the possible. All smile, knowing that the path ahead will rise to greet you. Welcome home. I am a unique being, living my story, epic and true. I walk my own way to my own beat, weaving ancient wisdom into the sacred new. That's gorgeous. So that's an example of how the full guidebook would read, and that's really powerful. So let's see again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. So there are 8 air signs or air sections, and that brings us to fire for creation, destruction, beginning, and expression. Here we have a wild horse with a sort of aboriginally or native handprint for freedom, sensitivity, spirit, and partnership. Dragonfly for magic, spontaneity, immediacy, and change. The bee for creativity, purpose, harvest, and devotion. The golden orb spider for messenger, balance, awareness, and design. As you may know if you've watched my channel, the spider had been following me around for all of last year, and I'm working on a suit with spiders and webs in it because clearly that is the energy that has wanted to come through. And so yeah, the golden orb spider for messenger, balance, awareness, and design. I've also come to find it to be for about creativity. So there we have that. The gecko for synchronicity, optimism, truth, and mobility. Oops, now I've messed these up. I had wanted to, I was pulling out the, there we go. I do like that we do have the different colored edges here to remind. The gecko for synchronicity, optimism, truth, and mobility. The lotus blue butterfly for transformation, becoming, lightness, and beauty. Again, really enjoying the mix of the kind of primitive stylized art with the beautiful realistic art. Orange blossom jellyfish for transparency, sensitivity, surrender, and illumination. That's gorgeous. Look. Orange-bellied parrot for radiance, expression, communication, and acceleration. I wonder why. That's interesting because obviously you would automatically kind of put birds in with and jellyfish with water. Winged one of the sun, traveler by night, colors shining bright, master of magic, drawn from above, bringer of secrets, expressions of love. I am parrot. For Chinese, in Chinese Feng Shui, parrots are a balanced expression of fire, of water, wood, fire, earth, and metal. I was just seeing if it explained why they would necessarily picked it for. Let's see what they determined for fire. Let's go back a little bit. Fire. So there is a section on the actual element, right? Pure energy, passion, and the sacred power of creativity. No matter what you may feel may have held you back in the past, fire now comes to burn away limitation and awaken the full expression of your creative potential. Fire simulates growth, so it does go in and talk about, I was just seeing if they just said how they determined. I embrace the fire of life within me, clear and centered in my purpose, ignited by creative potential. I am a force for good in the world. I really, again, like in an affirmation deck, I love powerful affirmations. Anyways, here we have the orange-bellied parrot. So you don't want to assume because it lives in the air, it's air. Because it lives in the water, it's water. And I quite like that because, you know, elements can mix. You know, the bee, it doesn't necessarily live in, it might be in the air, but its energy may be one of it related to another one. So that's kind of interesting, isn't it? So there we have our, again, 8 elements of fire, and that brings us to wood for growth, connection, support, and renewal. Oops, again, let me just see if we get in. You know, obviously, you generally see the 4 elements and then sometimes spirit. I do like that it is kept to be, we must protect the forests. Talks about Buddha receiving enlightenment under the tree. The Druids of early Britain worshipped trees. Cherokee Indians honor trees as standing people. Aboriginal Australians honor the ancient memories held within each of their wooden instruments and vessels. The tree of life. So it just goes on to explain how important the life force of trees are. I love that because I am a definite tree fanatic. I'm a tree hugger. Growth, connection, support, and renewal. So put that here. The giant panda for innocence. I will say some of the cards are very dark in tone. Not in a bad sense, but it's definitely not like a light tone deck. It's a very, you can really see it here where obviously this would be white. We definitely have that. I love the kind of sun in here in the background. You've got the Chinese, I would assume, or, you know, kind of looks like writing there. Innocence, gentleness, harmony, and balance. Beautiful timber wolf for instinct, guidance, belonging, and order. That's my other totem. Put her over here. Orangutan for laughter, curiosity, patience, and play. Look at that little face, that little belly. The tree frog for soul song, meditation, creation, and rebirth. I love that. The stick insect. Obviously, these are maybe are creatures found in the woods and or spend a lot of their time in trees. Stillness, awareness, discernment, and composure. The red squirrel for resourcefulness, vigilance, preparation, and busyness. The koala for calm, perspective, imagination, and ease. The gorgeous black cockatoo for herald, confidence, companionship, and communication. And then, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 8 wood animals. And then there is a Gaia card because she, Gaia is earth, right? So that makes sense. Harmony, abundance, wholeness, and forgiveness. So there you have it. And if you wanted it a complete, animal deck, you could obviously remove that if you really wanted to. But Gaia does stand for all of the elements and all of the earth. And so that is quite a beautiful inclusion there. So you can really see the colors on the sides now that I can fan it out more. And I quite like that additional reminder of its element and its suit. So it gives it, again, a suit quality that is nice to have in an oracle deck. So we have, let me zoom out a little bit. So we have the 5 elements: fire, air, earth, water, and wood. These are just my totems that I kept out, crow and wolf. So I think these are really beautifully done. Again, it's an affirmation style totem animal, guides to help you, and I love the affirmations at the end of it. And I love the inclusion of the element cards. And of course, I should add, we also then of course have the Gaia card. And then the rest are animals. I do like that they didn't stay concretely that, this animal swims in the water, so it's water. It was kind of working more with the elements that animal seems to be working within. So I quite appreciate that too. And so yeah, I'm actually really loving this. So let's see how it shuffles. I mean, this is a typical, it was sticky at first, but that's from the glossy, it is definitely it's a typical Blue Angel stock. I need to, obviously, that stickiness tends to go away after a while. I generally overhand shuffle these because they're large, but at the beginning, I do like to, try to get it kind of broke up a little bit. And I will still rifle shuffle a Blue Angel Oracle, usually like maybe one time or so, and then I'll go to overhand shuffle. But again, I just want to kind of break the animals up. Now, because of its large size, you can imagine if you were trying to get base 4 cards, you'd have to have a pretty good table for that element spread. That would be pretty difficult. But you can always do that straight across. Like there's nothing you could actually do. So let's try that. That's still 3. Let me see. Am I zoomed all the way out? I don't think so. There we go. Sorry, I have other things, other decks going on over here. It was good, fortuitous. I've been in a massive research learning mode and my brain kind of hurts. And so it's kind of nice to just stop and do an oracle deck for a minute. Now I'm going to go ahead and go right to left because I tend to do that with elemental in case I decide that I want to pull a geomancy figure, which is a lot of the times you read from right to left. And I'm also going to go in the order of geomancy. That's just how I do elements because of, again, because I very often want to add that in. So for me, that would be fire, air. See, I love when you get, so fire in the realm of air, passionate thought, right? Fire, air, water. An element in its element is obviously double strong. and earth. And then can we get, this is the question, above, excuse me, and below, which I just took the very bottom card for below, which it also would add it in, but they kind of use that as above and below. So this to me is a lot of cards, because these are going to be more strength and what is the energy that we want to apply to that area of our life, though, which is quite empowering, right? So in the energy, in the place, in the aspect of our creativity and our transformative and active energy of fire in our lives, what energy do we want to inform that? And we have mystery, agility, belief, and sensitivity. So we wanted to incorporate our belief and our sensitivity there, and a sense of mystery to the creative energies that we're outputting in our lives. Same thing for air. In the realms of our thought and our minds, what is the kind of energy that we want to have flowing through that aspect? Creation, right? Probably not destruction in the mind, unless it's destruction of negative thought patterns and creations of new thought patterns. Beginnings and expression does actually work with air, right? So I quite like the way you could use this, because again, for the realm of emotions, what is an energy that we need to imbue in our emotional self? Solitude, we need to, but it's interesting because we have solitude and friendship. Bears, you know, you do think of polar bears and bears in general as kind of being able to go off on their own, but then there is also the connection apparently with friendship. Strength, I always think about, and resilience. So that idea of bringing resiliency and strength to our emotional realm may need that energy there. And in the place of our everyday lives and our physicality and our resources, we want to bring the idea of thoughtfulness and intention to the use of our resources, to the use of our in our practical and everyday life. We need to bring that sense of intention. Like, that's really powerful, a message to hear, right? And then as above, the realm of spirit, so to speak, we have discernment, detection, transformation, right? It's a period of transformation of what is happening in the higher self, the higher realms. And then at our feet below, we have a sense of curiosity and play that's going about. While we want to go about this powerful thing of transformation and renewal, we can't forget to play. So that's actually a beautiful, quite a beautiful way to, I think, incorporate all of the elements. And then, of course, for me, I can add geomancy, because for fire, I have 13, which is an odd number. For 28, I have an even number. For 3, an odd number. And for 19, an odd number. So we have the beautiful energy of Puella, which is about harmony. So how gorgeous is that? Yeah, I quite love that. I don't generally do larger spreads with oracle cards, but that, I think, makes sense to me doing that. So there you have it. I have quite enjoyed this. I'm very happy with this purchase, and I will certainly be using this deck a lot. So thank you very much for watching, and have an absolutely beautiful day.